everybody? It is Saturday, January 18th. I am about to go live with the founder of the A.B.S Powerlifting series, Mr. Jay Farrant. I'm very excited about this one. This one has been a long time coming. We just haven't been able to coordinate, but today's the day. He's in the States. He's in the proper time zone. So I'm going to wait for him to hop on in. Come on.
Technology.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this has been a long time coming. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I'm really excited, obviously, about our event coming up. It's going to be great. Yeah, I'm just going to hop right into it. I actually don't know your full story, so start at the beginning.
Do you really want to go there?
Yeah. Start. Yeah, no, just like a quick what's your quick on your lifting story, like what's your lifting background, and then how did it get to gym ownership? How did that get to where we are today?
It was all accidental. Just I moved to Dublin, Ireland about fucking 17, 18 years ago. Left the military, moved to Dublin. I blagged my way into a small gym, was doing personal training, and then I always was fascinated with the strength side of the training. I think it was just more interesting to me than, fat loss. Like watching numbers go up on the bar was way more interesting. Decided then to bully a few female lifters or female clients into a powerlifting meet. I actually then did a meet myself during that time. And then that kind of got me into powerlifting. And then over the next maybe 2 years, I just kept, anyone who came to me for personal training magically ended up as a powerlifter. And that's all. Yeah, I was like, I've never heard of powerlifting. Yeah, it's really good for fat loss.
Yeah, my music teacher in high school had a sign that said "Better teaching through fear and intimidation." So that's great.
So I went from having a couple of girls to about 20 lifters, and then kind of just escalated from there. Then my friend who I was working for at the time had another gym. So the original name of A.B.S is Athletic Body Systems, because that's the gym I worked in. So when I moved out to the second location, that was a big warehouse, and then I basically had the powerlifting, my crew there, and I moved from general PT to full-time powerlifting, and rather than change the name, I just said,
You decided to change the acronym?
Yeah, so the acronym, I just said it's Advanced Barbell Systems now, because everyone knew it as A.B.S, and then I ended up going into business with the guy, and now I'm kind of pretty much on my own with I am on my own with the powerlifting side. So that was over the last 15 years. I moved gyms, and now A.B.S is essentially just a full powerlifting facility, semi-private.
Okay, so you currently own the gym?
Yeah.
You own the gym, okay. I thought that was the case, but so you ended up buying the gym?
Well, we moved locations, and he focused more on he still has the original A.B.S gym, which is the personal training studio, and then A.B.S gym that I run now is the powerlifting. So
okay. So you're like, okay, we need to move anyway. You'll go do your fruity thing over there, and I'll go do the more serious. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you competed in the Irish Powerlifting Federation, right?
Yeah, so I competed back when 2012 was the first meet I did, and that was in a small, they call it a labour club, a small labour club in Wales. I actually got beat up on a night out in Dublin, and I was meant to do my first comp, and my head was so swollen that I had to postpone it. So I found a small meet in Wales, did that. I only competed for probably a year and a half. I was okay. A little bit longer. Squatted I think 600 pounds, pulled 600 pounds, and then. But I got so busy with the coaching that I couldn't, training for me was an outlet. And then I go into a gym, I've got like 20, 30 people. I was the only coach asking me this, watch this. I just was like, actually, I just prefer coaching. I make money off it. I don't have to train as hard. And
just, like, I love your honesty. You're just like, yeah, fuck it. It's done.
Yeah, it is. It's like, if someone does well, I'm like, yeah, I'm great. If they don't do well, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna mess them. But no, that was it. And I just didn't enjoy the training side anymore because it wasn't mine anymore, I come in and my training always was like third place. It'd be everyone else's lifting, then it was there's a fucking toilet roll in the gym, this light is broke. So it was, and then I didn't like going to other gyms. I tried that and it's just like, everyone has headphones on and just wasn't the same. So I don't believe you can be good at two things, if you really put all your time into like your clients in person now as well. It's different online because you got a wall, but if you're actively like coaching people every single day, they just take too much of your energy, and then you're too much around the sport. So yeah, I think I did a one-off meet in 2017. I just jumped in because I got bullied, and that's the last time I kind of.
That's hilarious. So I get bullied frequently for my one meet. I competed for the first time this year. And like I went to a baseball game the night before. I fucked off. I'm still like fairly strong, like generally. But everything you say, I'm like, yes. Like I run a 22,000 square foot facility. I run 12. We both live similar lives. I can't even like you can't have the same measure of devotion you do to everything. I mean, you just some things have to go the other way. And when you get fixated on something like growing the sport, it's hard to be fixated also on your own training and stuff. And to what end? To go win a plastic medal, for us at least.
That's essentially it. And then you gotta, when you're so invested in like the sport, like everyone usually gets into powerlifting as an outlet because like no one gets into it for winning money because it costs you money. Like you end up broke.
Yeah,
right. So, for me, like if I'm running the gym and then I'm running an organization, like the last thing I want to do is go and fucking squat, bench, deadlift. I actually want to get out of as far away as that as possible. So, I've done sports like jiu-jitsu and stuff. Like MMA would be my kind of thing that, I either watch or do, or, I do coach and MMA fighters as well. So that's kind of my.
Is that why is the fight in Vegas tonight? Where's that at?
Yeah, it's in Vegas, but my guy got injured, so he's off the card. But I still watch the fight. But yeah.
Who's your athlete?
Johnny Walker. So big, tall Brazilian.
So you're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah, no hair.
Yeah, no hair. So I'm looking up Johnny Walker right now. Which one was he on which card was he on?
He would have been on tonight. He would have been on the main card, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so talk about hats, talk about responsibilities and stuff. But yeah, that's a whole nother. I mean, that's kind of what I like to do on these podcasts. Talk about we're gonna get to the main stuff, the stuff you got coming up, the stuff we got coming up. But I like to know a little bit more about the background of everyone I talk to. So like the whole idea of this podcast is I like to talk to people who are actually doing things, right? You and Andrew. I've had Andrew Cargill. He's in Georgia. They do some big venue stuff. You two are the only people I've had that are actually doing stuff. Everyone in my comment section, they don't do shit. Okay? Guess who's not in my comment section? You're not in my comment because you're doing things. You're actually doing things. So I love to have people on who are doing things. I love to get the opinion of it. So give us the full, what's the plan for the year? Like, what's going on? What do you have coming up? What can you tell us? Like, what?
Yeah.
Excited.
Well, the year is insane. This is is a big year. Like one thing I suppose I should talk about before is ABS is not a federation. And what I mean by that is we don't have the same infrastructure as every other federation in powerlifting. So that dictates how we have to run things, and it gives us strengths and it gives us weaknesses. So what I mean by that is, let's take the IPF. The IPF has a top level governing body, and then it has, I think, about 50 to 60 federations under it. So they have like unlimited referees, unlimited competitions. That being said, if you go to a competition in America and you go to a competition in Kazakhstan, you're probably going to get a different product. Or you go to a competition where the governing nation is really new.
I mean, hold on.
Money.
Let me interrupt you. You're going to get a different product in the United States.
Yeah.
Like from the powerlifting, I've been to several powerlifting American meets. You're going to get a different product. The product in powerlifting is dependent on the director. It's director dependent. I mean, the federation can do only so much to make sure that the product is good. But yeah, go ahead.
And that's the model. That's the model everywhere. And there's pros and cons. The pros are you got loads of lifters, you get loads of memberships. The cons are you get different standards at different events. And then depending on the meet director, are they running the meet for money, or are they running the meet because they're idiots and they like powerlifting? Okay, so that'll dictate, like, do you get a free t-shirt? No. Yes. So going back to my point, that's the federation model. ABS is a singular organism. We have the same, my dumbass is at every event, I bring the same referees, pool of 20-25 referees at every event. Doesn't matter where that is in the world, whether it's America, Scotland, Germany, Ireland. So that's kind of like why I think we're different. A big part we're different. We bring the same live stream equipment, we bring the same MCs, the same commentators. So when an ABS event is coming into town, you're going to see familiar faces. You're not going to see, same way IPF always have Ryan Lapatat on the commentating. You kind of know he's going to be doing it. So it's a similar thing.
John Anik with the UFC, it's the same, similar. Yeah. So I would say I'm gonna help you like out here with kind of how I see it. You guys are more like the UFC, right? You're one entity. You're the Dana White, right? You're at the top. You're in charge of basically everything, right? I mean, I'm sure you take people's counsel, but you're in charge. The buck stops with you. The IPF is a lot more like the Olympics, right? Yeah. The Olympics is a committee, right? It's a bunch of different organizations together. It operates a little differently. It's more of the Olympics is an amateur thing. It always has been. It's the athletes don't get paid at the Olympics. Same with the IPF. It's the same thing. What you're doing is more akin to the UFC, right? And the Olympics are great, and then maybe that's not the best comparison because the IPF, But I'd rather watch a UFC fight than some Olympic events. I think if from a business standpoint, the UFC, they're both good but different for sure in terms of that. But I think that's a good analogy.
That's pretty much it. And even down to like how it's promoted. The Olympics is very dry. It's still entertaining, but it's very like dry. Whereas like strongman and UFC would be very like production based. And then in terms of money, like not many, like I can't, from like an IPF perspective versus what we're doing, I can't see where the lifters are going to get money. Like, yeah, you get Sheffield, but if SPD went bankrupt tomorrow, like where are they getting the money outside of their own endeavors? So one of the main goals, what I'm trying to do is, with the lift pass, which you spearheaded, is bring money directly to lifters, and the rest will work itself out. But as far as like what we got planned this year, we've got events in Illinois, America. We've got four or five events in Dublin, Ireland, which is our base. We're going to South Africa, which is going to be insane.
Yeah, talk a little bit about South Africa. What are the I want to talk about what are the logistics behind getting them, like doing, who are you working with, like what's the story? Because like the states is like, okay, it's like I have everything here, the infrastructure, everything. What's South Africa looking like?
So South Africa is kind of a odd one. I'm working with Nicholas Dupree. He's
Okay.
kind of the meet director,
Okay.
but he's organised the venue. He's got all the equipment sorted. All Cerberus are going to send some stuff over. But in South Africa, there's a real a lot of the organisations like the WPC, the IPF, and all. They're all actually looking to help and contribute. They're excited to have abs over and for us to put a show on.
Is Hani anywhere in is Hani anywhere in
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
Okay.
He's actually good friends with
Okay.
Nicholas. So
Hani goated IPF.
yeah.
Hani, yeah, he should be the one on all the podcasts.
Yeah.
Like if they put him on all the podcasts and just let Gaston and like them go like off somewhere else in their little room, the IPF would be in a much better place. Like just like when I met him, so I do this little bit where I go, what are the three most famous, I go to the crowd because I MC. I go, what are the three most famous words in powerlifting? And I go, that's up, up, up.
Yeah.
Because that's what the crowd says, right? They go up, up, up. And he's like, go fuck yourself. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, well, I had never met him. He calls me over to the table. I thought I was in trouble. He calls me over to the table.
Man, he's a proper old school, like, South African guy. I've known him a while from my IPF days.
Well, he's actually to be your cup of tea. I mean, he did a meet on a cruise ship.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yes.
I know. Well, I know he's helping Nick.
Okay.
He is. Yeah. There's a general excitement to, and there's a lot of people who are, like, I set up the WhatsApp group the other day, and like 100 people already joined from around the world who are all waiting on the dates and all that. So that's going to be, that'll be. We'll have to bring some external production in and stuff. But again, we're going to be bringing our crew, our kit. It's going to be 90% what you get back home in Dublin in terms of the judging standards, the way it's administrated, the timings, the platform production. Everything's the same. So, and again, it gets us into a new spectator base as well, because I think South Africa are our fourth biggest nation who like follow us on all our platforms. So again, it's pretty, it's a pretty big country. So why not go there?
Yeah, fascinating. So I also see you have Scotland on here. That's probably easy, right? That's
Scotland's in February. Yeah, we link up with that was our first international 2 years ago. So I work with a man called Andrew Carney. He hosts lots of events. Recently held USA APL Scotland, GPC.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. And then we've got an old debating chamber. It looks like something out of what's the other one? Not Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. So,
I see the background. The background, you have Hogwarts in the background.
Yes. So cool. So, and we're teaming up with Brit Slap, the Power Slap. So we're doing a combined. They're doing the after show. So there should be 300-400 people minimum at that event. Sold out. Scottish people are great. They're great at drinking. They're great at being loud. So, can't wait. That's our cup of tea.
Okay, cool. So basically, I mean, kind of how I'm involved with this, obviously. The model is you find someone you like who's a really good director who can kind of help you with some of the logistics, like me, exactly. Yeah. And then you guys will come in. You guys run the meet. Like, you guys keep the standard, hold the standard. Obviously, that's not really something you can, maybe you could scale over time, but really what you're doing is kind of, you're providing this platform this thing you've created in Ireland, and we're going to pop it up in different spots. Yeah. Right? It's kind of...
it's like the UFC. Right, we're going here.
A little bit, but it's more, I'm trying to think, it's more amateur-esque. You have your pro events, obviously, we'll get to that. But what you're doing right now is kind of, and I love it if we can get it up to where we want it to go. I think what I see is we're going to do this, and this happened when I started doing like my meets. I did one meet really, really well, and everyone talked to everyone, and then
Yeah.
it just kept. And I think the same thing will happen. People are paying $80 an entry. This is going to be the best meet they've ever done.
I know.
Like
Yeah.
it's just like they're going to be like, why was I paying? Like I think that's a little bit too low of a price for. I mean, in the future we should charge a little more, but like they're going to walk in, they're going to be like, wait, you have more than one bathroom? I don't have to park in the grass. Like
Yeah.
what's going on? There's a whole nother gym that people can like work out at and stuff like during the thing. So I'm like super stoked with all this. Like my warm up room, everything. My warm up room's getting a full renovation before you guys come in.
Right.
We've got 8 combos in the warm up room.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna.
That's unheard of.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be crazy. So I'm really excited about that. And then you know, it's new, so we only had about 48 something lifters, right?
But to be honest, like, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It means we can give everyone a really good experience. Like my first meet I ran, I had 29 lifters, and the first abs meet was 29 lifters, $30. So you just don't be greedy at the start. Show people like, look, we're putting on meets because we fucking putting on meets, not because we just want your money.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm super excited about that. The reason I kind of segue into the price thing is like for anyone listening who will listen to this, like you have to invest in good things, right? And so we're not like I don't believe in. I believe we should charge what everyone else charges and then just do way better.
Yeah.
Like that's always been my philosophy. Whatever everyone else charges, we'll charge the same, and then we'll just kill everyone by doing it better. And that's always kind of how my gym, we charge the same price as everyone else. We just do it better. Same kind of thing. Same kind of concept here. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm looking at these posters for the tickets. I'm like, this is cool. Like,
yeah,
this is the model is you have kind of that undercard of like local lifters in the morning, and then at night you have your primetime thing. Everyone goes to that primetime thing. You have some better. We got Justin Suplee. He pulled like over 800 on a stiffy. Yeah. He's pulled 9 before. So like, I mean, we've got some cool local people. Some people coming up from Indiana and the Midwest. So I'm really excited about that just from a local standpoint. But let's segue to the big stuff you got coming on. So you've got what's the Clash is your next big one, right?
Yeah. Scotland's got a pretty good roster, but Clash of Titans is one of the 3 majors.
Yes.
And that is in Dublin, Ireland. It's our 3rd year. And yeah, there's some big hitters on that. Without doubt, it's the strongest meet in Europe ever in terms of absolute numbers. I think last year it was we had a podium all 20. I don't know what it is in pounds, but it was all like 1,060 kilo plus totals, top 3. So this year there's a few more big hitters coming from all over the world. So excited.
The Clash roster. So obviously you got the 2.
We have 2 more people to.
Here we'll talk about what's public. So you've got obviously Colton and Hack. Yeah. Like that's
Carlton.
And what was that?
Yeah, Carlton. Carlton's obviously in. Hack.
Colton Hack.
Justin
I mean, we had this discussion because you're. I think the general public is really. Or the general powerlifting public is looking forward to this inevitable clash between Colton and Hack. And like, you're going to be the first one to have it. Now, I think a lot of people, we talked about that Reddit thread where people are like, well, one's in wraps, one's in sleeves. Yeah. So what you're saying is this is kind of almost setting up a series. Yeah. Right. It's not this one is not the one. Right. And so I think people maybe need to temper their expectations a little about
it is. Yeah. Yeah. So, first of all, when all the lifters sign up, they all know it's wraps. It's a wrap meet. Has been from day one. Yep. If they choose not to do wraps, that's on you. With regards to Hack and Carlton, it's obviously John is at a disadvantage, but Carlton signed up for all 3 abs events this year. So the next one is power bar, and then eventually the rumble is sleeves. If you're going to piss John off for fire a light, like the guy doesn't lose. So if he does lose on April 19th, then I'm sure he's potentially going to have a different mindset for October. I know he does want to move up weight. He isn't cutting as much for this competition. So I know he is looking to move up weight as well. So who knows? We could see a 220 pounds, is it 100 kilo hack in October in sleeves on a power bar walkout. That's way more of a closer.
In Utah
Yeah,
at the
in Utah,
in the mainland.
in his backyard. For this one, my biggest, I think Sir Dave Richardson is the biggest threat to Carlton, which again he would be much more familiar with European fans because he's won 3 ABS events. He beat Dan Bell last year.
Hold on, we lost your audio. There you go. You're back. Oh.
He'll be the main threat to Carlton. He knows how to do it on the ABS platform. And then with all ABS events, there's always someone who just comes out of nowhere and challenges. You know, we had Boris beat Nicholas Dupree and Dave at the ABS Pro. Dave did it last year. He won the clash. He wasn't on somebody's top 3. You know, Dan Bell was meant to win easily, didn't make podium. So yeah, I think this just sets up a story. I'm already hooking John in for Utah. I'm like, oh, look at the roster, John. Wouldn't it be good if you came along?
Come on! Like, where else? There's like, frankly, what happened between the USAPL and everyone going to the IPF is the same thing that's happening. I mean, I'll say it. It's happening with you. Is that no one wants to, frankly, go to anything else. Like there is no other platform right now. Like you don't have to say it. I'll say it. Like if you're untested, you're going abs. Like you guys have, like, the reason people like the IPF is they have a schedule.
Yeah.
They have a routine. You go to NAX, you go to Worlds, you go to Sheffield. Like that's it. Like they have a routine. Like you know what it is. We've got a routine. You go to the Pro, you go to the Rumble, you go to Clash. Like you've got your thing. Now I think kind of I mean, you always want to have, I think for you always want to have that one event in Ireland, right? Mm-hmm. That one thing. Cause that's like the Masters, right?
Yeah.
Masters is always at Augusta, right? You're always good. And I would always have it in the gym just to be nostalgic. Not that you hopefully to grow out of that, but like.
Oh no, the gym, like we moved the Pro out of the gym last year.
Oh, okay. It's not even, okay.
Yeah. It wasn't the same. Mm-hmm. The venue was amazing. It looked like it was the best optics we've had, but everyone was just like, the lifters were just like, yeah, it's just not as intense as the gym venue. So we brought it back this year because everyone wanted it.
Yeah, and then what you do is you just at some point you're just going to charge $150 a ticket or something.
Yeah,
and you're just going to make it like the Apex where it's like you're just everyone's there, like the UFC where everyone's there and like in your face. But yeah, I think that maybe because that's something I consider, because like I can always run a really good meet at my gym and then I don't have to rent the venue and I just charge more for tickets and we make it up really like
you have time to set it up.
Yep.
You know, which is our gym is essentially a venue all the time. Like it's got, you know, we've got commentator boxes built up onto the walls. It's blacked out. I've never been in a venue that's so intense. The lifters, the crowd are right on top of you as a lift. You walk out, you've got this tiered crowd. We got a Guinness bar. Everyone's like either on the way to being drunk or drunk. So we don't have chairs. That's another thing. So we don't actually have chairs. We have stools and standing, because when people sit down for too long, they just get tired. You're at a bar table, you feel like you're in a pub.
No, I mean that's like right. We're starting you're painting the picture that I think powerlifting is missing, and where it's like, how do we build something that's like other sports where people are coming in and they want to stand up and they're drinking and they're having a good time. And I think you've got a lot of sauce, like a lot of things. You've got the shorter formats, you've got less lifters, so you can have more intensity throughout. You've got the beer, which I think has been a huge, I talked to Heather Connor. Heather Connor's like, the best moment I ever had in powerlifting was 6 years ago when Ray Williams was squatting 1090 and everyone was drunk because they had beer in Atlanta. I'm like, Oh yeah, that was. She's like, that's the best moment I've ever had, and they never did it ever again.
No.
It's like, what are we doing?
It goes back to like the Olympic style versus right. We're going to a show. You know, where a lot of my spectators and
Wait, hold on. We're
being
being mean to the Olympics. The Olympics is awesome. They've got Snoop Dogg. They've got Snoop Dogg like riding a horse, and like the Olympics is really cool. I think the thing that I think the IPF we're looking at is they're looking at Olympic lifting, which is like barely in the Olympics. It's like, why not look at swimming? They're putting a pool in a football stadium.
Yeah,
the Olympics is doing the right thing. I think we're just conflating these things.
Yeah, we're kind of cherry picking. But again,
I mean, hold on, like
with the IPF, I was involved for 10 years. They don't look at these things. Like they pick a venue that's fucking in the middle of a field somewhere in Turkey. There's no like instead they just don't look at the big picture.
No,
like you're worlds and you've got
it's not supposed the IPF is an international body. It's not supposed to be doing that. So I think that's the problem. People are looking for what you're doing in a vessel it's like you're going to a nursing home to look for energy. It's like it's a nursing home. It's not built for that. It's just not. That's not what it's supposed to be. So I think a lot of times they do not to totally defend them, but like they get a lot of criticism when they're just not set up to do that. You know, you got a lot of volunteers. It's nonprofit. Like there's a lot of things. So I think rather than try to berate them, I think it's more just like, okay, what can we do, or what can you do to really look at this? So yeah, I mean, I think we in general have a really good format you've got a good format of things. I like, but yeah, one thing we need a team thing. I'm the team guy, man. What are we getting? I don't care what it is. I want 2 teams.
So that you're right. I said it to you as well. I think at some stage there needs to be like USA versus the world, with untested. I think, man, can you just imagine like Carlton, Nick Dupree, Dave Richardson, Justin Zottel, and then
if you got like Death Grip Derek and Hack and Johnny, maybe not Johnny. I don't know if Johnny Kaufman's up there yet, but like it depending on how you did it, depending on if you wanted to do totals, if you wanted to do like I'm thinking of all the Americans. Like, I think come on.
I think the way you could do it, because obviously our calendar is jammed, is do it where each lifter gets to pick a lift that they represent. So let's say fucking Carlton comes out for a squat. He does his 3 squats against let's say Hack, and it goes on total kilos.
You should just make it part of an existing event. You should make it should just be part of an. You don't need to do a separate event because everyone's going to be there. If you just get everyone under the same roof, the Rumble can have a trophy. Like it can have.
It kind of is.
Yeah. It can have a team trophy. You can add a team trophy in there. Like.
Yeah, I think it's got there. That's like you look at like golf, the Ryder Cup. Yes, probably the only one I watch is Europe versus America.
No, you know what I watch is the new one. Have you seen the new one indoors with the teams?
Yeah. I was literally on the other day. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, listen. That is exactly what powerlifting should. That's what powerlifting should do. Okay. Yeah. What they did was they took they got a bunch of investors to pour a bunch of money and they made golf fucking cool. They're mic'd up. They're like talking shit to each other. They're like, Tiger Woods is there. Like, there's all the best golf.
I've seen it.
Rory's there. Like, it's so well done. It's like so well. They're still figuring some stuff out, but I already love it because the dialogue. Yeah. I'm like, they're like talking to each other during the thing. And remember, this is great for powerlifting because they're not actually like head-to-head fighting. No. Like they are like playing their own ball. So that's something we got to get some people on mic for sure. Like the whole time.
As you know, we invested. Our live stream last year was done by a third party. So this year we invested over $25,000 on top of an already existing $30,000-$40,000 a kit. We're going to be doing all our live stream in-house, and then some of the things we are doing is more interaction with the lifters during the meet. So instead of squats are done, 15-minute break, we're going to be out back, we're going to be interviewing, quick thing, we've got our commentators. And then another idea we came up with, bear with me okay on this, is we have headsets for commentators, but we might put a headset on the head ref, and when there's a play, and they're like, why was that? And then the head ref will be...
Yes, the head ref should be able to, he should get a little buzz and be like, what was the call? When it's questionable, when it's questionable, what happened? Dude, that's just transparency. Yeah. That's just, because here's what happens. So the problem with, this always drove me nuts in the IPF is you have red, yellow, blue. And they're all supposed to be reasons, but there's 5 different reasons under each color code. They're like, give me the exact reason. Oh, his knees were soft. And then we can go to the replay and we can go, yep, knees were soft, easy. And that's part of shitting on the referees is part of sports. We literally shit on referees all the time. Referees should be shit on if you do a bad job. It's part of the game. I don't care. As a referee, that was a bad call.
If you're a fair ref, you call what you see, right or wrong. Yep. You call what you see. If you get it wrong, you say, okay, I was wrong. I thought I got it wrong.
You don't take it personally, but you should then improve on top of that. You should be like, oh, I should be better at this. The referee.
What they'll do is they'll create, because I'm all about the experience of the spectator. So if you imagine, right, because you just said it yourself, there's about 5 things for each color. Unless you're a really experienced ref, you don't know them. So can you imagine, right, someone gets done for soft knees, blue light, and then, I'm just giving you an example. You throw up the yellow flag, like in football, the referee comes on, and it's lifter, no lift, soft knees. And the whole crowd know what's going on. The people on, and they're like, boo, dickhead. I'm like, fuck off. Not really.
Right. I mean, booing the referee is just part of sports. It's what you're supposed. It's part of the atmosphere and the crowd and home field advantage. And I mean, especially add Team USA versus the world, and you're in Utah or you're in Ireland, and that would be a whole nother element. Love that.
That's something. That's the big focus this year, is just bringing more engagement, whether it's online through the ABS Lift Pass or actually in person in the crowd.
Yep. You said the magic words, Lift Pass, so let's talk about that.
You start this one. This is you kind of...
So this is my brainchild. And it's not my brainchild, sorry. Everyone is doing subscriptions. This is not new. And so this is actually really funny, and I'll tell the story. So I basically just I think we were on the phone. I pitched it to you for maybe 10 minutes. I didn't even give the full explanation. I didn't even go through the whole logic. I just said it. You're like, I don't know how to make, I don't know how to quite make money doing this. I'm like, well, when I was building my team stuff, I'm like, well, we can't get advertisers to do commercials. We're just too small. Right, you're not gonna get any money that way. It's just too small. Pay-per-view is pay-per-view just doesn't work. I hate UFC pay-per-views. I'm a big UFC fan.
Yeah.
$75 for maybe a good card. I'll pay it, but I don't like it. I actually think it hurts them. I think they would do better if they didn't.
They say that themselves. They're trying to get out of the...
Yeah, I think so. But a fair middle ground is a Netflix style subscription. You pay $10 a month and you get to watch all the live events, and then you throw in some talk shows, you throw in some documentaries. This podcast should probably be on there.
Yeah.
Any kind of background content. I think a good documentary. Me and my guy are working on a good documentary. Actually, maybe we'll talk about this, but we want to do the fall of the USAPL. We want to do a doc because what happened? How did you lose such a big lead? All the money, and then just to completely, and the fall's not over yet, but just to crumble like that. I think that's a story that people, whether or not it's a story that people would be compelled to watch. I think
Yeah.
there just aren't a lot of great stories. Like that's a story I want to know. Like what the fuck happened? I'm sure there are older stories that we can like go back in the archives, like Hack vs. Gibbs. Hack vs. Gibbs is a legendary story. I really don't know what happened because I kind of wasn't involved in powerlifting.
Yeah.
I've watched it, but I don't really know the story. But I think to talk to people and get the story behind that because it's so legendary, I think there's a lot of good stories we can tell that could be on this platform, right? And so the trouble right now is I don't think we have enough content to justify $10 a month, right? 3 events, is maybe not there, but you're bringing other content to the platform, right?
Yeah. So literally, we spoke within a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I told him this, and then it appeared, right? I was like, that's my guy. Anyone who can work that fast is my guy. And so I'm like, okay, like great.
But to me, it was a no-brainer because I was like, right, how do I scale this up with our model? I don't want to go down the federation route and have Joe Timbuktu fucking running an event.
Memberships is not the
Memberships is just a money grab.
Yep.
Sponsors, we've some great sponsors, but we're never going to build a professional platform off a few thousand here and there. I don't want to keep putting the entry fee up. Our competitions are sold out 9 months ahead of time. You kind of said that. You showed me how you're doing it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. There's our $1 million ticket. I did the numbers. 8,000 people a month at $10 is $1 million a year. We've cracked the code. So, and then we're giving good value for money. With $10, you're going to get I've got 80 events already locked in for 2025 from 10 abs events, natural strongman. I just got an event in Italy. We've got 40 WRPF UK events. So it literally is like a Netflix, and more. We have to chat, and so anyone can use the platform. We can pay them. So if you're a local meet director and you want to put a paywall up, put it on our platform. We'll run it. We'll give you the money. The way we make the money is people stay subscribed.
Yeah. So do you have the option where someone can pay you to come produce something, and then maybe it's not behind a paywall, so they pay you whatever the cost is?
But it wouldn't be
for a local. I think that's almost bad. I don't want to paywall a local meet.
Yeah.
I would almost rather just pay someone to produce it. Like if it's a big local meet, like 120 lifters, maybe a couple grand you paid to someone to do a really good production.
That'll be the next phase. Is we've got a media guy in the UK and we've got our own team in Ireland. So, but if there is a meet that we could do that, but again, it's not. The goal is to get subscriptions.
Absolutely.
We're a totally independent media team, so it's almost like a separate. We can just pack up, go right. You want to pay.
The trouble would be to do something in the States because the travel is too expensive, basically. So it's eventually you have someone local to the States who's also part of that team, which you're going to need for interviews and stuff. But we'll get that's part of this. So I think people also need to realize this product right now is for the hardcore fan, right?
Yeah.
But very quickly we're going to get enough content on this platform where it's going to be for every powerlifting fan is just going to have it. It's just going to be I got my abs pass. The Rumble's on there. This is on there. I'll probably end up bringing my stuff on there just for ease of use. And then I can focus on just doing that. And then it all just kind of works together. There's oh, hey, I want to add this feature. Okay, we'll buy this equipment. Oh, I want to add this replay. I imagine if we get to a certain point, we'll probably go and hire a broadcast truck. A broadcast truck will come in and they'll produce on this platform. I mean, the platform's the key. The platform's the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
And then everything else kind of falls into place.
What it does, it gives you the revenue to go and interview Phil Herden. I can go, right, here's a $500 to a guy, go down to his gym, get him lifting his top sets, ask him all these questions. Bang, he's on the lift pass. People are invested in people.
Yep.
You know, bang.
Yeah, I mean, it's just giving enough content, one, for like making events good enough that people want to subscribe in the first place. Which I think you haven't even seen that yet because you haven't had anything.
I had one
like big.
Yeah, I had one kind of medium size, and we got like when I say there was no real stars at all. We already got like 200 subscribers off it, which is 22 grand a year, which is insane.
Worth the price of the phone call, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
most profitable phone call you've ever had. But yeah, it's just, and I'm sure you would have figured that out on your own eventually. I just kind of sped things up. Yeah, I mean, this is true. I mean, if you had there's 30,000 USAPL members in the United States, and every one of them had that, it would be $3.6 million a year. Like that's a sport. That's a real sport. Like so typically in American sports, half the revenue that's 1.4 million to the athletes.
Yeah, that's how we structured it.
Yeah.
Funny enough. So, so with the media team, once we pay back our equipment investment, 50% of the all lift pass, no matter what, 50% is ring fence to go into lifters. So that's the first thing I want to do is get a contract salary. Is like pick 4 or 5 people and go, right, you're going to get $500 a month to start with, all your expenses paid. You're signed to us. You can still do other events, but you're doing at least this and this event. You're signed to us. We're gonna follow you around, you know, and that's how you grow it.
Yeah, that's like the first like say if you gave me $10 million today, the first thing after I set up the corporation and everything is I'm gonna call up every athlete and I'm gonna send a DM to every athlete, be like, hey, I've got $20,000 for you to become an athlete.
Yeah.
With what I mean that's the solution to all of powerlifting sales, right? We have the top of the pyramid, we have to get money in, right? And then we can start paying athletes to show up, and then when the athletes show up, the fans show up, right? We do have to do some stuff on the fan side too, so like we have to take some of that lift pass money has to go to advertising. I mean, that's just
It's you know, big wheel. But we're already doing that, you know, like our Clash of Titans is sold out. We've got
tickets,
our ads
ticketing.
Yeah, all our top tier ticketing is gone. And like we're getting like 3-4 people just buying tickets every day, and we always get a good on the day. You know, because everyone knows, right? It's in Dublin. We can always buy tickets on the day. So yeah, like you probably see the ads running in the US. Like we were putting a lot more money in like awareness, like just running event ads in the US. We'll be doing that for the Rumble. Way ahead. Like we're working on the ad now. So yeah, you know, you have to build up these rivalries and get it out there. It's no good having an amazing product and no one knows about it, which is
you need both. It's both. It all meshes together. Having like a really, I mean, that's my concern with powerlifting has always been on the product side first. I just don't like. I'm actually going to Sheffield, so I'll see what that's like in person.
Yeah.
I'll see what all that's like. My concern has always been the product side. Like, is this a product as a sports fan, as a lifelong sports fan, that I would watch? And the answer is still no. Like I still haven't. Like Sheffield's, maybe it's still 5.5 hours long. Like there's reasonable fixes. There's reasonable fixes to almost everything you could do to fix stuff. The Rumble was great, but like when we talked about this, you know, you got to have a halftime show, you got to have a pregame show, you got to have all these. Like it's just like everything seems to be missing a little piece, and we just got to get it all, put it all together. But yeah,
but like, it's like, you know, 5 hours is too long. Like I think we ran the Rumble just under 3 hours, and we ran that on like such a tight budget. Because we lost a lot of money on that because everyone got paid, everyone got all the expenses covered. Their pay-per-view sales were nowhere near where we were expected. That was due to a lot of the big names pulling out. getting injured and all that shit, but it still ran amazingly well. It was still compelling in terms of a power.
You have a free trial with the pass? Is there a free trial?
Yeah. So you can cancel at any time. There is a free. We're working on a separate page for a free sign-up trial, because I don't want people just signing up for an event free and then canceling. So we're still kind of working on that.
It's like because you only have like 3 majors right now.
Yeah.
It's like rough because you're like, oh fuck. But like if you get to the point where you have 15 events, then you kind of lose. Like it's like one problem fixes the other and stuff like that. Because like, okay, for my gym, like I have more of a commercial-esque with the powerlifting, and so I have to give people a free trial because if they don't try it, they're not going to buy it. So it's like a similar thing. But I think when you have major events coming up, like there probably shouldn't be able to do it.
No, it'll be all right. Like even for the first one, we had 200 signups and 145 stayed signed up. And like now, as the season kicks off, there's going to be something every couple of weeks, you know, and then we'll just fill it with like interviews. You know, we got loads of interviews behind, like waiting to go up. So, you know, it's just going to take a bit of time, but there's your long-term plan, you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a reason I like thought bubbled this. I'm like, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how you do it. This is the way to do it. It's just adding in those other features, better, you know, get the broadcast better every single time, get the events better every single time. You know, we have, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of younger guys, across the country. They're kind of like the influencer chat because we all do content, and like we all agree these athletes are so watchable.
Yeah.
They're so like the personalities are great. It's just we haven't, as like event coordinators, haven't gotten to the promised land yet. We haven't been able to package them effectively or getting them all under the same roof where we have this this thing yet. We're just like so close. Powerlifting is like we're like even having the conversation, I'm a little more bullish. I'm like we're like just on the clip of it. We just gotta like force it through to the finish line. Like that's what's missing. It's like the rubric is there, the business plan is there. It's just shoving it like sheer force of will, shoving it like through the end. You know, I'm sure a lot of people critique everything, but you know, the people in the arena actually doing stuff, you know. But yeah, again, we talked about the lifting pass. I mean, obviously, no question there. Here, I'll just ask, what about tested?
So tested, oh man, I ran the Irish IPF affiliate for 8-9 years. I was president, general secretary, and one of the minefields is testing. So it's not actually administrating the tests, because you can do that through WADA, you can do that through your own referees, third party.
Yeah.
We had our first failed test, which was a supplement. I didn't personally, somebody accidentally did something wrong out of procedure.
Right, out of the chain of custody.
Yeah, not even that. They published it somewhere that it shouldn't have been, and if it wasn't for the fact I knew that person the Fed would have got sued. They had way more money than us, and I was just like, fuck me, we're fucked. But it was a mistake, and it all got sorted. So what puts me off is, right, yeah, I can get testing done tomorrow. Like we worked with the USAPL.
You can go to the store and get a drug tested. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what happens when you've got someone who knows this shit and they want to fucking take you to the cleaners? Is it really worth it? And then where's the end goal? Like the IPF is this cream de la creme for tested lifters. If the USAPL, who had all the money, they had all the lifters, can't, even though I think they did a lot wrong, they fucked it. If they can't compete, then like why bother, you know? Why waste? Maybe down the line.
Right. So I mean, sorry, not to go too. The reason the USAPL struggles is because they have no innovation or no innovative leadership. Like it has nothing to do with it. they have the same problem, a similar problem as the IPF. They have no innovative leadership, and the difference between the IPF and the USAPL are two sides of the same coin. Just the IPF has SBD running this event for them. That's it. They're the same thing. Like structurally, they're trying to structure the same thing, except one of them has a massive sponsor running a massive event, and the other doesn't. That's the difference. The drug testing piece is irrelevant. In my mind. I mean, I think the reason I ask is because I'm a huge sports fan, and every major professional sport has a drug program. They just do. And so I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that, like in terms of the future, because it does seem like if you want the sport to go down that path, it is going to have to, for public perception reasons, have to be drug free. So I don't know, like what.
I don't know. I look at strongman, and I'm like, do you know what? Just own it. Like, because I'm not going to be able to pull. I'm not going to pull Jesus over. Like, so what's the point? Like, I know all the untested guys to me are far more physically appealing. Like, you got Nicholas Dupree, for example, Carlton, John Hack. They're all just jacked stronger. So it's like I can't compete with the IPF, and never will it be able to offer somebody a world championship. And so it's kind of like I don't have the resources to even go. Like, definitely at a lower level we could do it, like a pro-am level. But and then I'm competing. I'm giving myself a competitor that has got way more history, resources, prestige in terms of that department. Because I know I would get more people to do tested easy, but then it's like,
wait, hold on. I see this comment, and I do want to respond to this. Okay, so for that top level spectacle, untested has the edge, no question. Well, I'll talk what he's doing, whatever he's doing. So if we can't, I feel like me and Jay are very honest and very objective. Right now, tested has the edge in terms of spectacle. You have to be honest. We have to be honest. They have 2,200 people sitting in an arena, like paying as much as $180 a ticket. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to be objective. I'm going to the event. You have to be objective that it's better. So, well, you may say that, it's just not true. So what your goal is to make it better, right? Your goal is to, and I have confidence you will, but right now you just have to be objective and say they have something better. But we think in the long run, if we keep doing what we're doing, untested will be a better spectacle, right? It'll return to kind of what it was before, but right now it's not. And I disagree with that statement, but I think it can be, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Sheffield has more awareness. Like,
someone just said that. Yeah.
Oh look, yeah. So, because like, you know, I honestly watch Sheffield, and I go in and out. I'm like, I'm kind of waiting for.
Right. Yes. I'm waiting for Jesus. Yeah, I'm waiting for Jesus
I
or something.
can't stand the format. And there's, you know, whereas being honest, like when I watched Clash, I was just live. I was just, and obviously I'm going to be biased, but it was so easy to follow, and it was like, you know, watching guy after guy come out and do these monstrous weights. I did find more interesting. I do feel like it is an awareness thing. Like, a lot of people don't, and that's because untested is so fragmented. Like, we've never had the best lifters on the same platform, whereas IPF do it all the time. So,
well, no, you had blips though. You had like the first American Pro. You had the hybrid. You had blips, right? But they never combined a good venue, right? They're always in like the Ghost Flash is in a brewery. Like they're always in these, like, they're like I just said, everything is missing something. Yeah. It's like people just can't put it all, like no one can put it all together. So I think that's a good argument. That's a fair argument. You're saying basically that Sheffield is great because it has more awareness and it probably has more relative prize money and stuff. But what can happen is everything can circle back around very quickly if it's done, if there's enough awareness about it.
Yeah, right? I feel like we get, Clash we had like 8,000-9,000 people watch the weigh-in for Clash, a fucking weigh-in. So that was more views than the American Pro this year, the Ghost, and that was a 2-hour press conference and weigh-in. So it's definitely it does have something. I think it's just awareness, keeping the consistency. Like Sheffield, we know the same people are going to be competing pretty much, or you've seen them lift at Worlds. So you have the following, you have the investment from the person. Whereas we're a platform now that we are bringing the same people back. Like Nicholas, Dave, for example, Fernando. They've all done like 4, 5, 6 abs comps. So in Europe, like everyone knows these people, and like we're seeing that now with the US, with the Rumble. Zach Myers is going to Dublin in August. Colton's doing all 3. Frank Allen's coming back to the Rumble. So I think it just needs that consistency, awareness, and just keeping it short. Not a fucking like all the untested things are like 3 flights. They run for like 10 hours. You're in and out your phone all day. It's like,
oh yeah.
How the fuck are you gonna get people to watch this? Whereas like, right, the Clash of Titans is on. It's gonna be 3 hours. Gonna have a few drinks. It's going on TV, and I can still go out that night, or I can still do something in the day. My Saturdays, it's on the TV. The commentators are invested. You can hear the crowd. They're not in a random room somewhere where it's silent, which is again a lot of the live streams you see. I think the biggest thing
you can debate whether you want to put him in the booth or on the sideline. Basketball's got him on the sideline. Booth's got him. It doesn't really matter, but you want that atmosphere.
You want to hear them. You want to hear the crowd. Right. Look at again UFC. Joe, the commentator shots where they're going mad. You can hear the crowd.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why we got headsets now for our commentators. We want them to be.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And be able to use their hands.
Well, and quick segue. That's how I ended up developing the streaming thing, because on YouTube they would keep shutting it down for audio, and like there's something called fair use, where if the music is not a significant portion of your event, then you can have music playing in the background, but the algorithm would try to shut it down anyway.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of got into I'm like, the music adds atmosphere.
You have
without that, it's like it just drives me nuts.
YouTube. We were for Clash. We got like 24,000 views, and it was going up about 100 views a second. I was watching it, and then the event was over, but people were it was going like boo 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 boo, and then it just shut down. I was like, oh my god, they probably would have hit like 30,000-40,000 views. So like again, it's just awareness, growing it. I think.
Yeah, and like the way people get a little obscured about how views are counted. Like YouTube views, or anytime someone watches for 30 seconds, that counts as a view.
Yeah.
So what happens is that kind of artificially inflates how real sports count their views. Is they take every minute of the broadcast, they take a sample, and so they then take an average of that. So it might peak at 40, it might be down to 30, but they take kind of an average. So if you see a video like Sheffield has 300,000 views, that means probably at the peak 30,000 people were watching.
That'd be great. Yeah,
it may not be what you. I think people think powerlifting is getting bigger than it really is, but there's still a ton of work to do.
What that tells you is people are interested if they keep going back in and out. I think we were up to about 4,000 views at one. Where you look at the analytics. You look at the concurrent viewership. Yeah. So it's just awareness. Keep putting on good shows, quick shows, head to heads, and it'll come.
Yeah, interesting. So this is a left field question for sure. But do you ever think, this is kind of spiraling off the drug testing thing, do you ever think something like a formula that takes into account tested versus untested would be something?
Yeah, that could be, so first of all, formulas are always going to have flaws.
Okay, so hold on. I want to okay. Just the NFL every single year changes their rule book to make their products more entertaining. Every single year. The rule book in the NFL is the same thing as formula, right? The formula is just the rule set you play with, right? Yeah. Formulas are not supposed to be accurate. They're just supposed to be a fun way for us to compare people across weight classes. Are they fair? No, but they make it more entertaining.
Yeah.
I needed to get that off my chest.
But that's why we have both. We have formula comps, we have total comps. So, yeah, could we do a formula coefficient that takes in, you look at the top X amount of tested and untested, you work out an average percentage of what they're getting, and yeah, you could do a tested formula.
Well, and like
you could definitely try it.
you could do percentage of the world record tested versus untested.
Yeah.
I think that's a way to do it. I mean, obviously you still have the drug testing issue, which you talked about. I think that issue gets solved with money, right? That's a money problem. Drug testing is a money problem. For every federation, it's a money problem. If you don't have enough money, drug testing is, so the reason drug testing is expensive, the test itself is not expensive. You have to get a third-party person to come and administer it. That's what's expensive.
And then you need money in the bank for legal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The other thing we looked at is, and open powerlifting kind of shut us down, is I would love to run a 2-lift meet. So you don't get 9 attempts, you get 6 attempts, 2 of each lift. So what that does, it's like, oh, right. So we all know openers tend to just be warm-ups. So what it does, it changes the dynamic so much.
So I've had this debate with someone before, and we came to the conclusion that it would be really entertaining. Don't get me wrong. The problem is it becomes such a judging thing that it's almost like it's just too much of a problem. It just becomes too much of a judging. Like the judges basically, it's too referee dependent. The referees basically have to decide the outcome. Because if you miss your first for whatever reason, then now the second one's on the referee to you could bomb out and there's just too many.
Yeah,
I kind of like it. I mean, what you would have to do is you'd have to take some sort of baseline, because it's just the bomb out rate is just going to be like.
Oh, definitely higher. Well,
yeah, I mean, you'd have to give them. You'd almost. I think someone did sometime. They take their openers in the warm up room or something. Like someone did something like that once.
Well, that's what it would be.
I think about it more like this. I know they're more of a warm up. I think about openers as an opportunity to introduce things.
Yeah.
I think of them as more like the first quarter of a football game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might score, but that's when the announcers are given exposition. Hey.
Oh no, yeah.
Hey, I mean, I think
yeah.
rather than just get rid of it to try and be like a video game, I think what we do is we just get better commentators who do better commentary, who can give exposition. I mean, I'll never forget Justin Tucker is kicking a field goal for the Ravens, and they're telling his backstory. I mean, it's a fucking field goal. It's an extra point. It's a 20-yard field goal, and they're telling you his story. They don't care about the actual play. It's a stupid play. You need exposition during that time. You need to tell that the first attempt is an opportunity to tell the story. You can almost glaze past the attempt. Now, if they miss it, then you talk about that. But if you're this is where having better broadcasters will help.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's something, we do, the guys do research on the lifters.
Yeah.
It's just more of a novelty event, extreme powerlifting. It'd be over in 2 hours. Bit of.
Yeah, no, I love. Listen, we don't want to quell any ideas, but I think there's a balance of keeping the core of the sport while doing fun things elsewhere. I think there's a balance, because once you lose you don't want to lose quite the sanctity of the sport, but you do want to make adjustments to make it more appealing.
Yeah, no, if we ever did, it wouldn't be a major event. It'd be more of could even be a fundraiser, charity fundraiser. Look, it's.
Okay.
I definitely would like to see how it works.
If we're doing that, we're doing one and done. We're doing one lift. Work. Everybody knows the rules. You get one
shot. Yeah, that would be fun.
So if we're talking fun, then we're doing that. We're doing one lift. Oh, we're doing one lift, and then if you miss it, you get to circle at the end of the flight or something. Yeah. You figured some sort of redemption or something. But yeah, no, I think we're in almost a transitionary period of powerlifting, right? I think with both the USAPL and with what you guys are doing, in general, everything's kind of transitioning, right? Yeah. And it's going to be a little chaotic, because I obviously go through both worlds, right? I sift between the two, and I believe in both. I think they're different strokes for different folks. You got tested, untested. The question is after, what can we do to improve the current standard? This is the first year of you doing what you're doing. This is the first year you're on the main card, right? This is the first year, in my opinion, from my perspective. This is the first year you're front and center. And so the question is not, I think you're going to do great this year. The question is now, how are you going to make that good? And then how are you going to improve that the next year? Because that's the problem we're running into right now is, okay, are we just going to do the same thing on the tested side, talking, where we're going to do nationals and worlds in Sheffield, the nationals and worlds in Sheffield, and then world games every 4 years? Is that it? Like,
Yeah.
because that doesn't sound like
No,
the
it's
ball
not.
game. Like that sounds kind of boring. And so my challenge to you is, okay, you have this formula. What's 2026? Like 2025, I think you've got it pretty slated. But what is 2026 like? So can you give us a like what does 2026 look like? Like what?
Well,
Like how are you planning on leveling up?
yeah. So already working on that. We're working on new venues that are gonna blow everything we've done so far. Work in the early stages, working with the UFC and the Apex. So
Is that breaking news? Is that breaking news?
Yeah, well, nothing's signed, but provisionally we're looking at March 2026 to do an event in the Apex, and that would be, again, it's all early stages. That would be broadcast with the UFC. It'd be one of their, a co-event. So that's kind of the next kind of big thing. I think that will really just open up a lot of doors and eyes. And yeah, I do think the USA versus the world is kind of, I think that's the event that can just get anyone interested, because Americans love nothing more than beating everyone else and showing how great they are.
You should see I have a too cool for British rules shirt. I'm gonna get the American flag top hat. Like I'm gonna be out there. Like,
can you imagine? Yeah, you'd have a crowd full of that, and Europeans love nothing more than shoving it up their Americans.
Yeah,
so it's a fucking no-brainer. Even at you IPF, like how many times is it like you want anyone to beat the American lifter? Because they're usually, a bit more arrogant, cocky, like Russ Swall, for example. And that's what you want. You need personality. So in terms of 2026, it probably will be the Clash of Titans to do the first one. Then we're looking at a place in Liverpool, an external venue there that they essentially bring in their own crowds. And that can go anywhere between 1,000 and 1,500 crowd. That's more like darts. I don't know if you've ever seen darts, their venues.
oh yeah,
yeah, it's
darts has a crowd. Like that's like, yeah.
And that's fat guys throwing arrows. So
right.
Like once you throw in beer, rivalries, personalities, and people know what's going on, you could run anything. So there's where I'm always open to change. I'm not stuck in formats and comps. If something is slowly dying off, well, I'll just get rid of it and switch it in. And then we don't have the nationals, regionals, world format, so I think that's probably a good thing and a bad thing from IPF.
You know what? I think that type of a schedule is just for like the minor league level. Yeah. If you're an amateur, I think I like that schedule because I think it's almost like you do that and then you move up. Yeah. Right? You do that schedule, you go to World, because that's how hockey works. I mean, you go to Junior Worlds and then you maybe go to the NHL or maybe you go get a job. It kind of I've always viewed it that way. I think if I had to really peer into the future, I think what the IPF's doing is going to be like a lot like that. It's going to be a lot of growing the sport on the grass. If they do it right, they'll grow the sport on the grassroots level. Powerlifting America will be grassroots. It'll be local meets, local gyms and stuff. Maybe not so zealous about the testing. They're already not very zealot right now. So maybe we just get a little saner. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. I've been very vocal about my disdain for testing at the local level. No other sport drug tests teenagers. No, there's not one. There's not one. Now there is some drug test. It's like suspect. Like if you're like suspected, like they will, because you don't want people doing illegal drugs, right? But I've been very vocal about my feeling that drug testing teenagers and stuff is just stupid. It's
Yeah.
also talk about lawsuits.
Yeah, there you
Talk
go.
about lawsuits. Talk about
Yeah.
lawsuits. Like anyone under the age of 18 should not be getting drug tested. Period. I think there's people up in the ranks that agree with me on that side of things. So I think I would love to see more grassroots stuff from the IPF and from Powerlifting America and make it more friendly. And then I'd love to see more serious stuff from private entities. If fucking Fenway Sports Group wants to get involved in powerlifting, they should fucking get involved in. Like that's what when we start to see that, that's when we'll know powerlifting is. When the Saudis start buying powerlifting leagues,
Yeah.
that's when we know powerlifting will have gotten to the. That's a good thing, guys. Like that's not a bad thing. If the Saudis want to put $500 million into powerlifting, we just say yes, sir.
Yeah.
Where's the bones? Where's the bone saw? Yes, sir. Like we want you want companies to see what you guys are doing and be like, oh, I need to put money into that, right? That's what we want. That's ultimately our goal is to get enough eyes that people want to do.
And it all goes back to what we just talked about, awareness, and where you're going to get them people. You're going to get them at like venues like the Apex.
Yep.
That's the only way you're going to get it to them. People see it and go, anyone who's got a brain will go, there's something there. Watching a guy walk out with 900 pounds and the bar's oscillating and his nose starts bleeding and he's like in this state, you're going to go, do you know what? There's something primal about this. Let's throw some money at it, make it a show. So that's where I think untested does have an edge, because you've got the freaks of the freaks, whereas I think, as you said, I think tested is more grassroots, and once the money comes in, people will flip. Right. For example, exactly. Jesus, do you want to earn 100K a year, or do you want to go and
that's always been that's why the USAPL failed, because of the money. It's why everyone flips. It all flips. It's all about the dollars, and how you earn the dollars is where the competition kind of lies. It's like what are you doing as an organization to generate money to get the athletes? That's the same thing with every other sport. That's the UFC versus PFL, all that. It's all the same sort of. Yes, life. Yes, right. Where are you going to work? You're going to work which employer pays you the most. Like
that's it.
Same job. I think platforms matter. I think exposure matters and stuff. So, yeah, great talk. I mean, I don't really have anything else. I'm sure we'll do this again.
We'll see you in a few weeks. So,
I'll see you in.
I'll see you in Illinois. If you're from the area, make sure you come and watch. And get ready for 2025. We're coming.
It's gonna be. They keep calling me. So, come on by. We've got a great venue. Kind of how we do meets here, real quick, is you buy a ticket to the meet, and then you actually get a day pass to the gym too. So you come. We literally have a whole gym that's open. And then we have a whole venue that for the meet, so you can kind of do both. You get a wristband, you can go back and forth. We got taco trucks. It's BYOB, so you can bring your own drinks and stuff. We don't sell anything here because of the law. But other than that, it's a great time. And BYOB is cheaper anyway, so
yeah.
I don't see the problem. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks, Jay. Thanks for coming on.
Cool, man. All right, see you soon.
Peace.
Ciao for now.
Absolutely.
Ciao.